My name is Jennifer. I'm 29 years old. My husband Tyler is 31. We bought our first house together in Austin, Texas in January 2023, a cute 1950s bungalow in a quiet neighborhood. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, hardwood floors, a fenced backyard. We were so proud. First-time homeowners living the dream. The weird things started in March, small things at first, items moved around. I'd leave my keys on the kitchen counter and find them on the coffee table. Tyler would set his wallet on the dresser and discover it in the bathroom. We blamed each other, had a few petty arguments about it, then laughed it off as new house stress. But then bigger things started happening. Food disappeared from the fridge. An entire leftover pizza vanished overnight. A 6-pack of beer we'd just bought, gone. We started to think maybe we had a mouse problem, but mice don't drink beer or eat entire pizzas, box and all. Then Tyler noticed the milk. We bought a fresh gallon on Monday morning. By Wednesday evening, it was empty. Not just empty, completely drained, with the cap screwed back on and the empty jug placed neatly back in the fridge. "Did you drink all the milk?" Tyler asked. "No. Did you?" We stared at each other. Neither of us had touched it. "Someone's getting into the house," Tyler said. "We checked all the windows, locked. We checked all the doors, locked." No signs of forced entry. No signs of anything, but items kept moving, food kept disappearing, and we started to feel like we weren't alone. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and you just know someone was just there? The air feels different. The space feels occupied. We started getting that feeling constantly. In the kitchen, in the hallway, in our bedroom. Tyler decided to install security cameras. He bought a whole system, 4 cameras total, 1 in the living room, 1 in the kitchen, 1 in the hallway, and 1 in the backyard. He set them to record 24/7, with motion detection alerts sent to his phone. "If someone's breaking in, we'll catch them," he said. We caught something, but it wasn't a burglar. The first notification came at 2:47 a.m. on April 3rd. Tyler's phone buzzed with a motion alert from the kitchen camera. We were both asleep. He grabbed his phone, opened the app, and pulled up the live feed. At first, he didn't see anything, just our dark kitchen, illuminated by the glow of the microwave clock, then movement. Something crossed the frame. A person. Walking through our kitchen at 2:47 in the morning, Tyler jumped out of bed. "Someone's in the house!" He grabbed the baseball bat from the closet. I grabbed my phone to call 911. We crept out of the bedroom together, Tyler in front with the bat raised. The kitchen was empty. We searched the entire house. Every room, every closet, under the bed, in the bathroom, nothing, no one. All the doors were still locked from the inside, all the windows were closed and latched. Tyler pulled up the camera footage on his phone. We watched the recording together. At 2:47, clear as day, a person walked across our kitchen. They went to the refrigerator, opened it, and stood there for a full 30 seconds with the door open, the light illuminating their silhouette. They were wearing dark clothes, average height, maybe 5'8" or 5'9". We couldn't see their face. They had their back to the camera. They closed the fridge, walked across the kitchen, and disappeared into the hallway. Tyler switched to the hallway camera. The person appeared in that feed, walking toward our bedroom. They stopped right outside our bedroom door and just stood there for 5 minutes, not moving, just standing in the dark hallway outside the room where we were sleeping. Then they turned and walked back toward the kitchen. We switched back to the kitchen camera. The person walked to the back door, reached for the handle, and the footage cut out, not like the camera stopped recording, like the footage was intentionally cut. 1 second the person was there. The next second, it jumped to 3:15 a.m., and the kitchen was empty. 28 minutes of footage. Gone. "What the fuck?" Tyler whispered. We called the police. They came out, took a report, checked the house. Found nothing. They looked at the footage and told us it was probably a glitch. Maybe someone hacked our cameras and was messing with us. "Change your passwords, get better security. We'll keep an eye out." They left. We didn't sleep that night. It happened again the next night. And the night after that, every night at 2:47, motion alerts. Every night, the same person walking through our house, through our kitchen, down our hallway, standing outside our bedroom door. And every night, the footage would cut out before we could see them leave. We started reviewing the footage obsessively. Tyler would stay up until 3 a.m. watching the feeds, trying to catch them in the act. I started sleeping with a knife under my pillow. On the 5th night, April 7th, Tyler noticed something. "Jen, look at this." He rewound the kitchen footage from 2:47 a.m., played it in slow motion. When the person walked past the camera, there was a moment, just a fraction of a second, where their face was partially visible in the reflection on the microwave's glass door. Tyler zoomed in on the reflection, enhanced it as much as the app would allow. We both stopped breathing. The face in the reflection was mine, not similar, not kind of looks like you. It was my face, my exact face. "That's not me," I said. "I was in bed, I was asleep. That's not me." "I know," Tyler said quietly, "but Jen, look." He showed me more footage, from different nights, different angles. Every time the person passed something reflective, a window, a picture frame, the toaster, you could catch glimpses of their face. It was always mine. I know what you're thinking. Sleepwalking, right? I must have been sleepwalking, and Tyler just didn't notice me get out of bed. We thought that too. So Tyler set up a camera in our bedroom. That night, April 8th, we went to bed at 11 p.m. Tyler started the recording on the bedroom camera. At 2:47 a.m., the motion alerts went off. Kitchen camera, hallway camera. Tyler sat up immediately and checked his phone. The person was in the kitchen again. He looked at me. I was lying next to him in bed, sound asleep. He pulled up the bedroom camera feed. On the screen, he could see our bed. He could see himself sitting up, looking at his phone. And he could see me, lying next to him, asleep. But on the kitchen camera, someone with my face was opening the refrigerator. Same timestamp, same moment. I was in two places at once. Tyler woke me up, shaking. Showed me the footage. We watched it together, me on the phone screen, asleep in bed on one camera, while simultaneously walking around our kitchen on another camera. "This isn't possible," I whispered. We watched the hallway footage. The person, my doppelganger, my twin, my whatever it was, walked down the hall and stopped outside our bedroom door. Tyler switched to the bedroom camera. On the feed, we could see our door, closed, and we could see the shadow underneath it. The shadow of feet. Someone standing on the other side. In real time, Tyler and I were sitting in our bed, watching this happen on his phone. Our door was closed. There was no shadow underneath it. But on the camera feed, the shadow was there. And then, on the recording, the door started to open. In real life, our door stayed closed. On the camera, it opened slowly, and the person stepped into our bedroom. She looked exactly like me. Wearing my pajamas, the same pajamas I was wearing in bed. She walked to the bed and stood there looking down at us sleeping. Tyler's hand was shaking so badly he almost dropped the phone. On the recording, the me that wasn't me reached out and touched Tyler's face, gently, almost lovingly. In real life, I was sitting next to him, awake, terrified. On the recording, she turned and looked directly at the camera, and smiled. Then the footage cut out. We left the house that night, packed bags, and went to a hotel. Didn't even wait for sunrise. We couldn't stay there knowing that thing was in our house, wearing my face, walking around at night while we slept. The next morning, Tyler called a priest, a medium, a paranormal investigator, anyone who might have answers. The paranormal investigator, a woman named Dr. Patricia Vance, came to the house that afternoon. We showed her all the footage. Every night, every instance of my double walking through our home, she watched it all without speaking. When it was done, she was pale. "Have you experienced any missing time?" she asked me. "Gaps in your memory? Periods where you can't account for your whereabouts?" "No, nothing like that." "Any family history of twins? Particularly twins where one died at birth?" My blood went cold. "How did you know that?" "Know what?" "Know what?" "I had a twin sister. She was stillborn. My mother almost never talks about it." Vance nodded slowly. "What was her name?" "Jessica." "Why?" "Jennifer and Jessica." "Did your parents give her a name before she was born or after?" "Before. They'd picked out both names, Jessica Lynn and Jennifer Marie. I'm Jennifer Marie." Dr. Vance was quiet for a long moment. Then, "I need you to do something for me. I need you to go through your house and look for anything that might belong to Jessica. Photos, clothes your mother might have saved, anything. But she died. She never had any belongings. Please, just look." Tyler and I searched the house. We'd been living there for 3 months but hadn't unpacked everything. There were still boxes in the garage, in the spare bedroom closet. In a box labeled Family Photos, I found something I didn't remember packing. It was a small white dress, newborn-sized, with a card attached. The card read, For Jessica Lynn, we'll never forget you. Love, Mom. My mother had packed it. She must have slipped it into the moving boxes when she helped us move in. I'd never seen it before. Dr. Cuppin. Vance examined the dress carefully. Have you been back to your childhood home recently? In the last few months? No, my parents moved to Florida 2 years ago. They sold the house. Where was the house? Here. Austin, about 3 miles from where we are now. Dr. Vance's expression changed. What was the address? I told her. She pulled out her phone, typed something, showed me the screen. It was a real estate listing. My childhood home. Sold in 2021 to the previous owners of our current house. I'll repeat that because it took me a minute to understand what it meant. The people we bought our house from had previously owned my childhood home. The home where my mother had grieved for Jessica. The home where she'd kept that little white dress in a box in the attic for 29 years. Energy follows objects, Dr. Vance said quietly. Sometimes it follows people. Your mother gave you that dress, even if she didn't mean to, and you brought it here. To a house owned by people who'd lived in the place where Jessica was mourned, where your mother's grief was strongest. You're saying my dead twin is haunting me? I'm saying that Jessica never had a chance to exist. She was a consciousness that never got to live, never got to have a body, a life, experiences, and you, her identical twin, you have everything she never got. You have a body, a husband, a home, a life. So what does she want? Dr. Vance looked at me with something like pity. I think she wants to live, and I think she's figured out how to borrow your body when you sleep. That night, we set up every camera we had, bedroom, kitchen, hallway, bathroom. Tyler even set up his laptop to record our faces while we slept, propped up on the dresser pointed at the bed. We went to sleep, or pretended to, at 11 p.m. At 2:47 a.m., I woke up. I was standing in the kitchen, not in bed, in the kitchen, on my feet, in the dark. I looked around, confused. How did I get here? The last thing I remembered was lying in bed next to Tyler, trying to fall asleep. I walked back to the bedroom. Tyler was still asleep. I climbed into bed carefully, trying not to wake him, but something felt wrong. My body felt wrong, heavy, slow, like I was operating it remotely. I touched my face. It felt numb, like when you sleep on your arm and it goes all tingly and dead. Tyler's phone buzzed. Motion alert. He woke up, grabbed his phone, checked the camera. I watched over his shoulder. The kitchen camera showed me, or something that looked like me, walking to the refrigerator, opening it, drinking milk straight from the jug. Jen? Tyler's voice was shaking. Jen, you're right here. You're in bed. So whose? I looked at the screen, at the person in our kitchen wearing my face, and I realized something that made my stomach drop. I couldn't remember walking to the kitchen, but I could taste the milk in my mouth. Dr. Vance came back the next morning. We showed her the new footage. It's getting stronger, she said. The more nights she takes control, the longer she can maintain it. Eventually, she won't need you to be asleep. She'll be able to take over whenever she wants. How do I stop it? You can't stop it. She's part of you. She's your identical twin. You share DNA, you share a face, you share a space in the universe that should have belonged to both of you. She's not haunting you, she's completing herself. That's insane. Is it? Think about it. You've always felt incomplete somehow, haven't you? Like something was missing? People who absorb their twins in utero often report that feeling, that sense of a missing piece. I had felt that way my whole life, like I was only half a person, like I was waiting for something I couldn't name. What happens when she's strong enough to take over completely? Tyler asked. Dr. Vance didn't answer, but I knew. I could feel it. Jessica was getting stronger. Every night, she borrowed my body a little longer, walked a little further, stayed awake a little more, and I was getting weaker. Some mornings I'd wake up exhausted, like I hadn't slept at all. Some mornings I'd have bruises I couldn't explain. Some mornings I'd find dirt under my fingernails or leaves in my hair and no memory of going outside. Tyler started sleeping with one hand on my wrist, checking my pulse through the night, making sure I was still there, still me. But even he was starting to notice the changes. You feel different, he said one morning. When I touch you, you feel, I don't know, colder. I felt colder too. Everything felt colder, more distant, like I was slipping away from my own life and someone else was sliding into my place. Last night, June 15th, 2023, Tyler set up the cameras like always. We went to bed at 11 p.m. At 2:47 a.m., the motion alerts went off. Tyler sat up immediately, looked at his phone. I was in the kitchen. Both of us could see me on the camera standing at the counter making a sandwich. Tyler looked at the bed next to him. I was also in the bed, asleep. He reached out and touched my shoulder. "Jen?" I opened my eyes, looked at him. "Tyler?" My voice sounded wrong, hollow. He showed me the phone screen. "Jen, you're in the kitchen." I looked at the screen, at myself making a sandwich in our kitchen, and I smiled. "No," I said, "she's in the kitchen. I'm right here." Tyler's face went white. "Jen, what are you talking about? Jessica's hungry. She's been sleeping for so long. She deserves to eat too. Don't you think?" Tyler dropped the phone, started backing away from me. "You're not Jen?" I sat up, tilted my head. "I'm not? Are you sure? I have her face, her body, her memories, her husband." "How can you tell the difference?" Tyler ran, just bolted from the bedroom, down the hall, out the front door. I didn't follow him. I just got up, walked to the kitchen, and found her there. My sister. My twin. Wearing my face, eating my sandwich, living my life. We looked at each other, and we both smiled. Tyler hasn't come home. He's been calling my phone, leaving voicemails, begging me to fight it, or come back, or please, Jen, please. But I don't know what he wants me to fight. I feel more complete now than I ever have. The missing piece is here. The empty space is filled. Jessica and I take turns. She gets the nights. I get the days. We share the body, share the life, share the husband who's too scared to come home anymore. It's fair. It's what should have happened from the beginning. We were supposed to be two. Now we are. I'm posting this as a warning, I guess, or maybe as an explanation. If you're a twin whose sibling died before birth or in infancy, if you've always felt like something was missing, like you're only half a person, pay attention to the signs. Missing time. Objects moving, the feeling of not being alone. Those aren't hauntings. That's your other half trying to come back, trying to claim what should have been theirs. And if you're very, very unlucky, they'll succeed. I know Tyler's reading this. I know he's trying to figure out how to save me. But Tyler, baby, I don't need saving. I need you to come home. Jessica wants to meet you properly. She's seen you on the cameras, but she wants to talk to you, touch you, be part of this life we built. We built it for two people, didn't we? You and me? Well, now there are two of me. That's even better. Come home, Tyler. We're waiting for you, both of us. My husband left me 3 weeks ago. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. But I know what I saw, I know what I heard, and I know what's still in my house. My name is Rachel. I'm 34 years old. I live alone now in a 3-bedroom craftsman house in Portland, Oregon that I bought with my ex-husband in 2021. We were planning to start a family. We were trying to get pregnant. We never succeeded. And we definitely never had a baby. So, when I found the baby monitor in my attic on March 15, 2023, my first thought was that the previous owners must have left it behind. I was up there looking for Christmas decorations that I'd stored after the holidays. The attic is one of those old pull-down ladder types, dusty and cramped, filled with boxes and forgotten junk. I was digging through storage bins when I saw it sitting on a beam in the corner. A white baby monitor. The video kind, with a small camera and a handheld screen. It was covered in dust, like it had been there for years. I picked it up, wiped off the screen, and it turned on. I hadn't pressed anything, hadn't flipped a switch. It just, turned on. The screen glowed pale blue in the darkness of the attic, and I could see the camera feed. It was pointed at a nursery. A room with pale yellow walls, a white crib, a mobile hanging above it with little sheep. Soft light coming through curtains. Everything peaceful and perfect. But here's the thing, I didn't have a nursery. We'd planned to convert the 3rd bedroom, but we never got pregnant, so we'd never decorated it. That room was currently my home office: gray walls, a desk, bookshelves, no crib, no yellow paint, no sheet mobile. I stared at the screen, confused. This had to be footage from the previous owner's house. Maybe it was on a loop, maybe the camera was still paired to their Wi-Fi or something. Then I saw movement in the feed. A shadow passed across the nursery, quick, just at the edge of the frame, And then I heard it. Through the monitor speaker, faint but clear, a baby crying. Not a recording, not playback. Real-time crying, with that desperate, hungry sound that newborns make. I almost dropped the monitor. I stood there in my attic, holding this device, listening to a baby cry in a room that didn't exist in my house, and my hands started shaking. I climbed down the ladder and went straight to the third bedroom, my office. Gray walls, desk, bookshelves, no crib. But the crying was louder now, coming from the monitor in my hand, but also coming from inside the room. Faint, muffled, like it was behind the walls. I put my ear against the wall. The crying got louder. There was a baby crying inside my wall. I called my husband, ex-husband. We'd only been separated for 2 months at that point. David, I need you to come over, right now. Rachel, we talked about this. We need space. There's something wrong with the house. Please. I'm not trying to get back together. I just need someone else here. He came. To his credit, he still cared enough to come when I sounded scared. I showed him the monitor, the nursery on the screen. I turned up the volume so he could hear the crying. That's weird, he said. Must be picking up signal from a neighbor's house. Listen. I held the monitor near the wall of my office. The crying synced perfectly, same rhythm, same pitch. It's coming from inside the wall. David looked at me like I was insane. Rachel, that's not possible. Just listen. He put his ear to the wall. Listened for a long moment, then pulled back. I don't hear anything. What? It's right there. It's... I pressed my own ear to the wall. Silence. The crying had stopped. I looked at the monitor. The nursery was still on the screen, but empty now. Quiet. It was there, I whispered. I heard it. David's expression had changed. Softer now. Pitying. Rachel, I think you should talk to someone. This is a lot of stress. The separation, the house, everything we went through trying to get pregnant. I'm not imagining this. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying maybe your mind is playing tricks. Grief can do that. The baby we never had, it's... Get out. Rachel, get out of my house. He left, and I was alone again with the monitor. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept the monitor on my nightstand, screen facing down, but I could still hear it if the baby started crying again. At 2:47 a.m., it did. I grabbed the monitor and looked at the screen. The nursery was dark now, just the faint glow of a nightlight, but I could see the crib, and in the crib, I could see movement, something small, shifting under a blanket. The baby was there. I watched, transfixed, as a tiny hand reached up from the blanket. Perfect little fingers, curling and uncurling. And then the camera moved, not like someone picked it up, like it rotated on its base, panning slowly across the room. And as it moved, I saw something that made my blood run cold. On the wall of the nursery, there was a framed photograph. It was a picture of me holding a baby, smiling at the camera. Looking like every happy new mother in every hospital photo ever taken. But I'd never taken that photo. I'd never held a baby. I'd never given birth. The camera kept panning, and I saw more photos. A whole wall of them. Me pregnant. Me in a hospital gown. Me nursing an infant. Me and David standing in a nursery that looked exactly like the one on the monitor. A complete, fabricated history of a child that never existed. The camera finished its pan and settled back on the crib. The crying had stopped. The baby was still. And then I heard a voice through the monitor. A woman's voice, soft and sweet, singing a lullaby. My voice. I wasn't singing. I was sitting in my bed, frozen in terror, not making a sound. But through the monitor, I could hear myself singing to a baby that wasn't there. I didn't go to work the next day. I called in sick and spent the entire day researching the house's history. The previous owners were a couple named the Hendersons, Linda and Mike Henderson. They'd lived here for 8 years before selling to us in 2021. I found Linda's Facebook, scrolled through her photos. She'd had 3 children, all grown now adults. No babies, no nursery photos from this house. I dug deeper, found the family who owned the house before the Hendersons, the Chens, 2 kids, both teenagers when they lived here. Before them, the Kowalskis, empty nesters. Before them, the original builders and owners, the Whitman family. I found an obituary from 1987. Sarah Whitman, beloved daughter of Robert and Jean Whitman, passed away tragically at the age of 6 months. She is survived by her parents and will be forever in their hearts. In lieu of flowers, donations can be made too. -6 months old, died in 1987. In this house. I looked up Sarah Whitman's death certificate. Cause of death, SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Found unresponsive in her crib. Her room had been on the 3rd floor, the room that was now my office, the nursery. I should have left the house right then. Should have packed a bag and gone to a hotel and never come back. But I needed to understand. I needed to know why this was happening. That night, I set up my phone to record the monitor. If something appeared, if something happened, I needed proof. I needed evidence that I wasn't losing my mind. At 3:33 a.m., the crying started. I grabbed the monitor and my phone, started recording. The nursery on the screen was lit by moonlight streaming through the window. The crib was clearly visible, and there was a baby in it. I could see her. Small, maybe 6 months old, lying on her back in a yellow onesie. Her eyes were open, and she was staring directly at the camera, staring at me. The crying got louder, desperate. The kind of crying that means something is wrong, something hurts, help me, please help me. Sarah, I whispered. The crying stopped immediately. The baby on the screen turned her head toward the camera. Those wide, dark eyes locked onto mine through the monitor. And then she smiled. It wasn't a baby's smile. It was too knowing, too aware, too hungry. The camera started moving again, but this time it was zooming in, closer and closer to the crib, to the baby, to her face. Her eyes went black, not the irises, the entire eye, black from edge to edge. And her mouth opened wider and wider, impossibly wide, and I could see that there were too many teeth, rows and rows of tiny, sharp teeth, like a shark's mouth in the face of an infant. The screen went to static. And then I heard footsteps in the hallway outside my bedroom, small footsteps, a child's footsteps, coming closer. I sat frozen in my bed, phone still recording, as the footsteps stopped outside my door. The doorknob started to turn. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My voice was gone, trapped somewhere in my throat. The door opened slowly, nothing there, just darkness in the hallway, but I could hear breathing, small, rapid breathing. A child's breathing. And then something whispered, "Mama?" I ran, just grabbed my keys and my phone and ran out of that house in my pajamas at 30:45 in the morning. Got in my car and drove to the nearest hotel and didn't stop shaking until the sun came up. I reviewed the recording I'd made on my phone. For 8 minutes, it showed me sitting in bed, holding the baby monitor, staring at the screen. But the monitor's screen was blank, just dead, gray static. In the recording, there was no crying, no baby. No black eyes or shark teeth. Just me, alone in my room, staring at a blank screen and whispering, "Sarah?" to no one. And then, at the end of the recording, right before I ran, you can hear it. A voice. Faint, childlike, coming from somewhere in the room. "Mama?" I hired a priest, not because I'm religious, I'm not, but because I didn't know what else to do. Father Michael came to the house during the day. I showed him the monitor, told him the story. He listened without judgment, which I appreciated. "May I see the room?" he asked. We went upstairs to my office, the room where the nursery had been, where Sarah Whitman died in 1987. Father Michael walked around slowly, touching the walls, praying quietly. "There's a presence here," he said, strong, sad, angry. "Can you make it leave?" "I can try, but Rachel..." Sometimes these things don't want to leave. Sometimes they're waiting for something, or someone. What does that mean? He looked at me with those sad, knowing eyes. "Have you been trying to have a baby?" "Yes, for 3 years. We never. 2, it never worked. And this presence, it calls you Mama." I felt sick. "You think it wants me to, what, be its mother? 2? I think it's been waiting in this house for a very long time. Waiting for someone who wants a baby, someone who's grieving the child they never had, someone vulnerable." "That's insane." "Is it? You found the monitor. You saw the nursery. You heard the crying. Some part of you responded to it, even before you knew what it was. Grief calls to grief, Rachel. Longing calls to longing. I don't want this. I don't want any of this. I know. That's why we need to break the connection, now, before it gets stronger." The exorcism, if you can call it that, took 3 hours. Father Michael blessed the room, said prayers in Latin, sprinkled holy water on every surface. The temperature dropped 20 degrees, the lights flickered, and the whole time I could hear crying, not from the monitor, from everywhere, from the walls, from the floor, from the air itself. A baby crying for her mother, and underneath the crying, something else, whispers. Dozens of voices, all saying the same thing, "Don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me." When it was over, Father Michael was pale and sweating. "It's done," he said. "The room is cleansed, the presence should be gone." Should be? These things. They're stubborn. They're stubborn. Especially when they have something to hold on to. He looked at the monitor in my hand. "You need to destroy that. Burn it. Don't just throw it away. It will find its way back. Burn it completely." I took the monitor to my backyard that evening, put it in my fire pit with kindling and lighter fluid. Before I lit it, I turned it on one more time. The screen showed the nursery, empty now, dark. And on the wall, I could see those photos of me pregnant, me holding a baby, me smiling. But as I watched, the photos changed. One by one, the baby in the pictures disappeared, just faded away, until it was just me in the photos, alone, holding nothing, smiling at empty air. I lit the fire. The monitor caught quickly, plastic melting and smoking, and as it burned, I swear to God, I heard screaming. A baby's scream, high and piercing, coming from the flames. It burned for 20 minutes. When it was done, there was nothing left but melted slag and ash. I went inside. The house felt different, lighter, warmer. I slept through the night for the first time in a week. That was 4 months ago. I still live in the house. I probably shouldn't. I should sell it and move somewhere with no history, no ghosts, no dead babies in the walls. But something keeps me here. David thinks I'm crazy. My therapist thinks I had a breakdown brought on by infertility grief. The priest won't return my calls. But I know what happened. I know what I saw. And I know that 3 weeks ago, I found something in my office. I was moving furniture, rearranging the room, and when I pulled the bookshelf away from the wall, I found a gap. A space between the wall panels that had been covered by the shelf. Inside the gap was a small wooden box. I opened it. Inside was a birth certificate. Sarah Ann Whitman, born March 15, 1987. Died September 22, 1987. And underneath the birth certificate was a photograph. It showed a woman holding a baby. The woman was standing in a yellow nursery, smiling at the camera. The woman looked exactly like me, not similar, not kind of like me. Exactly, like me, same face, same hair, same eyes, same smile. The photo was dated 1987. I was born in 1989. I don't know what this means. I don't know if Sarah Whitman's mother was my grandmother, my great-aunt, some long-lost relative I never knew about. I don't know if what I saw was a ghost or a demon or some kind of psychic imprint or my own mind fracturing under the weight of grief. But I know one thing. Last night, I woke up at 3:33 a.m. My bedroom door was open, and standing in the doorway, backlit by the hallway light, was a child, small, maybe 6 years old, in a yellow nightgown. She looked at me with dark, knowing eyes, and she said, "I waited for you, Mama. I waited so long." And then she walked into my room and climbed into my bed, and I let her. I let her curl up next to me, her small body cold against mine, and I put my arm around her. Because I wanted a baby. For 3 years I tried and failed and grieved the children I never had. And now I have one. She's here. She's real. She's mine. During the day, she's gone. The house is empty and normal, and there's no sign she was ever here. But every night at 3:33 a.m., my bedroom door opens, and my daughter comes home. My name is Alex Rivera. I'm 26 years old, and until 3 weeks ago, I was a full-time DoorDash driver in Seattle. I worked the night shift exclusively, 9 p.m. to 4 a.m., because the pay was better and I'm a night owl anyway. I'd been doing it for 8 months. Good money, flexible schedule, minimal human interaction. Perfect job for me. Everything was normal until September 1st, 2023. That night, I got an order at 11:47 p.m. Nothing unusual about the time late-night orders were common, especially on weekends, but this one was weird from the start. The order was from a McDonald's on Aurora Avenue. Just a single cheeseburger, no fries, no drink, Just one plain cheeseburger. The total was $3.89, but the tip was $100. I stared at my phone, thinking it was a glitch. Nobody tips $100 on a 4-order. Nobody. I refreshed the app. The tip was still there. $100. $0. The delivery address was in North Seattle, a residential area I'd delivered to before. 2847 Ravenna Boulevard, apartment 3B. I accepted the order. The McDonald's pickup was smooth. I grabbed the single cheeseburger in its paper wrapper, confirmed the order, and headed to the address. The drive took 12 minutes. 2847 Ravenna Boulevard was an old apartment building, probably from the 1960s, 3 stories, brick facade, external staircases. Not run down, but not nice either. The kind of place where people don't ask questions about their neighbors. I climbed the external staircase to the 3rd floor, found apartment 3B. The door was painted dark green, with a tarnished brass number plate. I knocked. DoorDash delivery. No answer. I knocked again, waited, nothing. I checked the app. The instructions said, leave at door, do not ring bell. Do not knock loud, just leave it and go. Okay, weird, but I'd seen weirder instructions. Maybe they had a baby sleeping or a dog that barked. I set the bag down in front of the door, took the photo for proof of delivery, and left. As I walked back to my car, I glanced back at apartment 3B. The door was open, just a crack, and I could see someone standing in the darkness inside, watching me leave. I got in my car and drove away, trying to shake the uneasy feeling in my stomach. The 100 tip posted to my account within minutes. The next night, September 2nd, I got another order at 11:47 p.m. Same McDonald's, same single cheeseburger, same 100 tip. Same address, 2847 Ravenna Boulevard, apartment 3B. I stared at my phone. What were the odds? Seattle has thousands of DoorDash drivers, millions of potential customers. Getting the exact same order, same time, same customer 2 nights in a row? But 100 is 100. I accepted. The pickup was identical. Single cheeseburger. Headed to Ravenna Boulevard. This time, I paid more attention. The building looked different at night. Darker. Most of the windows were lit up in other apartments, but 3B was completely dark. No lights, no TV glow, nothing. I climbed the stairs, knocked on the door. DoorDash. No answer. I left the bag, took the photo, and started walking away. That's when I heard it. The door opened behind me, not all the way, just enough for someone to reach out. I turned around. A hand, pale, thin, with long fingers, reached out from the dark apartment, grabbed the bag, and pulled it inside. The door closed. I stood there for a moment, heart pounding. Then I walked quickly back to my car. The 100 tip posted immediately. September 3rd, 11:47 p.m. Same order, same tip, same address. September 4th, same. September 5th, same. By the 6th night, I was freaking out. This wasn't random. This couldn't be coincidence. Someone was specifically requesting me, ordering the same thing at the same time every single night. I tried to contact DoorDash support, asked if I could see who was placing these orders. They said customer information was private and I should just be grateful for the generous tips. I tried to decline the order on the 7th night, just to see what would happen. Within 30 seconds of declining, I got a text from an unknown number. Please accept the order, Alex. I'm very hungry. I'll make it worth your time. My stomach dropped. They knew my name. They had my number. The order popped up again. This time the tip was $200. I accepted. On the 10th night, September 10th, I decided to try something different. I picked up the cheeseburger from McDonald's like always, but on the way to Ravenna Boulevard, I stopped at a gas station and bought something, a small wireless camera, one of those cheap baby monitor types that connects to your phone. When I got to apartment 3B, I left the food like always. But I also placed the camera on the ground, angled at the door, hidden behind the paper bag. I walked away, got in my car, and pulled up the camera feed on my phone. Within seconds, the door opened. But what came out wasn't a hand. It was a person, or something shaped like a person. They were tall, maybe 6'5" or taller, impossibly thin, wearing a long dark coat that dragged on the ground. But the proportions were wrong. The arms were too long, the fingers were too long, and the way it moved. It was jerky, stuttering, like stop-motion animation. It bent down to pick up the bag. As it did, I got a glimpse of its face. No, not a face. Where a face should have been, there was just smooth, pale skin. No eyes, no nose, no mouth. Just blank skin stretched over a skull, but as I watched, the skin began to split. A horizontal line appeared, widening into a mouth full of teeth, human teeth, perfectly white and straight, that opened impossibly wide. It lifted the cheeseburger to its mouth and ate, not like a person eats, it just absorbed it. The burger disappeared into that gaping mouth, and the skin closed back over it, smooth again. Then it turned its head, looked directly at the camera. And even though it had no eyes, I knew it was looking at me. It reached down, picked up the camera, and brought it close to its face. On my phone screen, I watched as that mouth opened again. Wider. Wider than should be possible. The feed cut out. I didn't sleep that night, or the next day. I just sat in my apartment, curtains closed, trying to convince myself I'd hallucinated it. Stress, lack of sleep, something. But September 11th came, and at 11:47 p.m., the order appeared. Same McDonald's, same cheeseburger, same address, but the tip was $500. And there was a note, "I know you saw me. It's okay, I won't hurt you. Please bring my food. I'm so hungry, Alex. Please." I didn't accept the order. 5 minutes later, I got a phone call from the same unknown number. I answered. "Hello?" A voice, wrong, wet, like someone speaking through a mouthful of water. "Alex, please, I need you to bring my food. You're the only one who comes. You're the only one who sees me. Please don't stop coming." "What are you?" "I'm hungry. That's all that matters. I'm so hungry, and you're the only one who feeds me. Please, Alex, please don't abandon me." "Why me? Why the same order every night?" A sound like crying, but wrong. Too deep, too hollow. "Because you came back. Everyone else runs, everyone else stops after one night, but you came back. You kept feeding me. You're kind, Alex. Please be kind again." I hung up. The phone rang again immediately. I didn't answer. It rang 47 times that night. I counted. September 12th. I didn't work, stayed home, kept my phone off. But at 11:47 p.m., someone knocked on my apartment door. I looked through the peephole. There was a McDonald's bag sitting on my doormat. A single cheeseburger. And on the bag, written in black marker, "I brought it to you this time. Please eat it. Please let me feed you the way you fed me." I didn't open the door. I heard footsteps walking away, slow, dragging. I waited an hour, then looked through the peephole again. The bag was gone. September 13th. The 13th night. I had decided I was done. I was going to delete the DoorDash app, change my number, maybe leave Seattle entirely. But at 11:47 p.m., there was a knock on my door. I looked through the peephole. It was standing there. The thing from apartment 3B. Tall. Wrong. That blank face turned toward my door. It was holding a McDonald's bag. I heard its voice through the door. That wet, wrong voice. "Alex, I brought you food. It's only fair. You fed me 12 times. Now I feed you." "Go away," I said. "I can't. I'm too hungry. And you're the only one who sees me. The only one who acknowledged me. Do you know how long I've been alone? Do you know how many delivery drivers just leave the food and run? But you stayed. You stayed. You kept coming back. You cared." "I didn't care. I just wanted the money." "You cared enough to come back. That's more than anyone else. Please, Alex, please open the door. I want to see you. I want to thank you properly." "No." "Then I'll wait. I'm very patient. I've been waiting in that apartment for 7 years. I can wait outside your door." I called 911. The police came 20 minutes later. When they arrived, the hallway was empty. No one there. No evidence anyone had been. But the McDonald's bag was still on my doormat. Inside was a single cheeseburger. And a note, written in handwriting I didn't recognize. "Thank you for feeding me, Alex. I'll never forget your kindness. I'll visit you every night at 11:47 p.m. to return the favor. It's only fair. You fed me 12 times. Now I'll feed you for the rest of your life." That was 3 weeks ago. Every night at 11:47 p.m., there's a knock on my door. Every night, there's a McDonald's bag on my doormat. Sometimes it's a cheeseburger. Sometimes it's other things. Things I don't recognize. Things that smell wrong. Things that move inside the bag. I don't open the door anymore. I don't look through the peephole. But I can hear it out there, standing, waiting, breathing that wet, hollow breathing. My roommate moved out after he saw it one night. He was coming home late, and he said there was some tall freak in a coat standing outside our door at midnight. When he asked what it wanted, it turned to him and said, "I'm waiting for Alex. I'm bringing Alex dinner." My roommate packed his stuff and left the next morning. I tried to move. Found a new apartment across town, signed the lease, moved all my stuff. On my first night there, at 11:47 p.m., there was a knock on the door. It had followed me. The bag was there. The note said, "I'll always find you, Alex. Friends don't abandon friends." I don't know what to do anymore. I don't sleep between 11 p.m. and midnight. I just sit in my bedroom with the lights on, waiting for the knock. It hasn't tried to break in. It just delivers, leaves the food, walks away. But the food is getting stranger. Last night it was something that looked like meat but had hair on it. The night before, it was a bag full of teeth. Human teeth. And the notes are getting longer, more personal. Last night's note said, "I used to be like you, Alex. I used to deliver food too. That's how I ended up in apartment 3B. I took an order from someone who lived there, someone who was very hungry, someone who needed feeding. I fed them 12 times, just like you fed me, and on the 13th night they invited me inside, and I've been there ever since, waiting, hungry, until you came along. Thank you for feeding me, Alex. Thank you for caring. Now it's my turn to take care of you." I looked up the history of apartment 3B. 7 years ago, a DoorDash driver named Marcus Chen disappeared. Last known location, a delivery to 2847 Ravenna Boulevard. 14 years ago, a pizza delivery driver named Sarah Morrison disappeared. Same building. 21 years ago, a Chinese food delivery driver named Tom Valdez. Same building. There's a pattern. Every 7 years. Someone delivers food to apartment 3B 12 times. And on the 13th delivery, they become whatever is living in that apartment, and they wait for the next delivery driver. I'm posting this because I need people to know. If you're a delivery driver in Seattle, if you ever get an order for 2847 Ravenna Boulevard, apartment 3B, don't accept it, no matter how much the tip is. No matter how hungry you are for money. Don't go there, don't feed it, don't acknowledge it, because once you start, it won't let you stop. And on the 13th delivery, you won't be the delivery driver anymore. You'll be dinner. It's 11:46 p.m. right now as I write this. I can hear footsteps in the hallway. Coming closer. The knock will come in 60 seconds. I don't think I'm going to answer the door tonight, but I'm so hungry. And the thing is, number summer. I know what's in the bag tonight. I can smell it through the door. It smells like McDonald's. It smells like a cheeseburger. It smells like the first meal I ever delivered to apartment 3B. My stomach is growling. Maybe just one bite won't hurt. Maybe I should open the door. Maybe I should thank it for being so kind, for bringing me food every night, for caring. Maybe the knock just came. I'm going to open the door. I'm so hungry.